All right, man. Peace. So we back with the prince of the Wigga White Boys, Michael Rappaport. He's going to reveal the genesis of his distaste and his dislike for LeBron James. He's going to make some valid points, but he's also going to reveal the mindset that he has. So let's see what he has to say.
Joined now by friend of the show, podcast host.
Here we go.
I am Rappaport Stereo Podcast, and he has a new book. This book has balls, which I've been reading. It's very good. Michael Rappaport, welcome back.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
What do you got? What's that?
Oh, no, well, because Shannon, before the thing, he was complaining to me about bets. And
Yeah, I know.
Tell him who on me. Tell him who.
Dana White doesn't pay him, so like this. But when I was at the Golden State Warriors, when they dismantled the Cleveland Cavaliers, I took this for you, and I wanted to throw this confetti on you. This is fresh off the floor. I kept it.
Shannon know damn well he want to smack the shit out that man for that. Shannon know damn well he want to reach out and touch Michael Rappaport. He want to wrap his hands around Michael Rappaport's neck and act like it's a football.
Just for you.
Why were you at the game?
I was at the game watching the dismantling of the king, who should be called the princess, with his memes and all the craziness.
You a hater.
Princess James, she's upset. We go in the corner. Calm down, Princess James.
You was.
Well, look, I agree with that. And Michael Rappaport does make some relatively valid points about LeBron James. LeBron James is extremely silly. He's extremely immature. And that's the reason why, as I told you guys months ago, that's why Kyrie Irving left. Anybody could see it. After a while, it's very, very difficult to come into a professional environment where your mindset constantly has to be on aggressiveness, and you have this guy trying to play these low-level mind games, trying to act as if he is a leader when in reality, he's just way too infatuated with himself to be an effective leader. And it shows on the team this year. Right? Kyrie Irving's departure has really shown how much the team really leaned towards Kyrie for mental stability. And you have that in a lot of different environments, even in the workplace. Oftentimes there'll be a person there who does not necessarily appear to be the leader from the perspective of outsiders, but that person brings a certain energy into the workplace environment that inspires other people, that galvanizes them, even if they won't say it out loud until the person is gone.
You and Skip first cousin. Both of y'all haters.
Here we go.
It's
So,
over.
Mr. Rappaport, I read your book cover to cover, and I liked your book a lot.
Thank you.
Bet you did.
It is funny, which is no surprise, and it gets a little too F-bomby for my taste. It's a little profane. It's out there, but it's.
Well, that's part of Rappaport's brand that he's building right now as an actor / comedian, especially at his age. He understands that he was never a heartthrob to begin with, but most of the roles that he'll get in Hollywood are going to be for comic relief. So he might as well continue to build that brand right now.
It's so you, because basically, for those who don't know, you started as a stand-up comic.
Yep.
And to me, it reads like stand-up rants on your favorite heroes and villains in the world of sports. And you got Larry Bird and Bill Belichick and Muhammad Ali and LeVar Ball. Of course, he belongs in that sentence.
LeVar can't ball. He got his own chapter. You made it. You made it into my book. LeVar can't ball.
No, sir. He didn't make it into your book. You made it into his life, because LeVar Ball's bigger than you right now. Okay? That's why you put his name in your book, because LeVar Ball's name rings bells. That's basically how that goes. When the list of notables in your book has Larry Bird, Muhammad Ali, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and LeVar Ball, he's doing you a favor. You're not doing him a favor. He does not need any publicity from you. He's a self-made man, whether you like it or not.
He did. Mike Tyson, Ronda Rousey, and it just goes on and on and on. But the chapter that shocked me was on one LeBron James, because you do have a personal axe to grind with one LeBron.
Yes, the personal axe that he has to grind is the same axe that you have to grind with him, Skip. And that is that you guys were not born with his body. The both of you wish that you could do a real-life version of Get Out, and you could have your brains put inside of LeBron James's body. That's really what the both of you wish, and that's really the source and the genesis, the origins of much of the vitriol that streams from Skip Bayless and Michael Rappaport's mouths toward LeBron James. Now, in the process of hiding or masking that true inspiration for their resentment towards him, they make many valid points about LeBron James. which anybody who's perceptive can see that the brother is extremely immature, that he can be very silly, and he tries to be, some form of a manipulator, but he fails at every turn. But I will say that the brother is intelligent, even though he is immature. All right. Or at least I should say he has a brain trust that helps him make the right moves.
Your commentary on LeBron in this book is scathing in the chapter on why LeBron, 23 reasons why LeBron will never be like Mike.
That's correct.
So.
And I guarantee you when Michael Rappaport was, a 20-year-old hook-nosed Caucasian Jew listening to Wu-Tang back in 92 and 93, he didn't like Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan now for people who have a personal dislike for LeBron James. Michael Jordan is he's kind of like what Joe Louis was to those who didn't like Muhammad Ali. You understand? He's somebody that you can use to compare him against to try to cast a bad light on a LeBron James. Now, the issues that I always bring out in regards to LeBron James are always based in fact. I have no personal dislike for him or any other so-called black man, particularly when it comes to sports. They're just doing their job, and they're shining as usual. The so-called black superstar in sports, they normally shine. But when you start to have conversations about all-time greats, then we have to go through every nook and cranny to establish who is who. It is what it is. I still don't understand why people take it as an offense when you say that a Kobe Bryant is a top 15 all-time great player. When you say somebody's top 15 to ever walk the earth in anything, that is a tremendous compliment. Period. To me, a LeBron James is definitely a top 10 player all time because of what he can do. He can go to any team and make them a 50-win team. Now we're going to see if he can do that with this year's Cleveland team. And in the process of doing that, he's able to be extremely proficient. When it comes to Michael Jordan, why is Michael Jordan number one on my list? I mean, even though if people were to say Bill Russell or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I wouldn't put up too much of a contest to that. But for me, I mean, it's not just the player efficiency rating, which is the highest ever, or the scoring. That's not even what makes Jordan the greatest to me. What makes him the greatest to me is that he is the first, and still to this day, pretty much the only wing player with no dominant inside help who was able to win multiple championships. Okay? He's the only, in a big man era. Let me also specify that. Okay? When you look at the players that have been able to win multiple championships in a big man era without big man help, you're talking about Isaiah Thomas and you're talking about Michael Jordan. Okay? And that's it. And even Isaiah Thomas had a great front line. When you talk about Mark Aguirre and before him, Adrian Dantley, Bill Laimbeer. A lot of people look at Bill Laimbeer as a guy who was just a guy who just was a dirty player. This guy was like a 3 or 4-time All-Star. Before Patrick Ewing was drafted to the Knicks and took his All-Star spot for the next, however many years, Bill Laimbeer made multiple All-Star teams. And of course, they had Dennis Rodman on the front line as well, who went on to become a Hall of Famer and who was a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year with the Pistons. So, Isaiah had help on the front line. He had great players, but he didn't have a dominant inside guy, which you normally needed in that era to win championships. And Jordan, of course, is the only player in history to have won that consistently without dominant inside help in a big man era. So that I mean, to me, it's not even really that close. But for people who want to say Kareem because of what Kareem has accomplished throughout his career, being dominant in high school, dominant in college, and coming into the NBA being dominant early on. But Kareem had trouble doing anything without Oscar or without Magic. But he did. He did get to the finals in '74. I believe that was Oscar Robertson's last year with them. But if you want to put Kareem number one or Bill Russell number one, I don't really have a big complaint about that. But I just don't see how it's an insult to say that any of these guys are top 15 to ever do something that's just is not an insult to me, or for me, or in my mind, or from my perspective. But in contrast to these two have a personal axe to grind against LeBron, and that is that they were not born in his body.
I'm going to let you tell this story, but basically, you did meet LeBron James, or I should say he introduced himself to you when he was a rookie in the NBA, and you were starting to leave Jay-Z's 40-40 club.
That's
in
correct.
Manhattan, right?
Yes,
And
Yeah, he was leaving Jay-Z's 40-40 club, once again wishing that he could leave the club as a black man.
and he comes up to you and basically says, Mr. Rappaport, sir, I'm a big fan of yours, right?
Absolutely. Nice. You know, like I know you, you know me. Nice
Yeah.
to meet you, sir. I'm a
Yeah.
fan of yours. A nice kid. Saw him in a couple of All-Star games. Nice to meet you. Nice
Right.
to meet you. Now, this is before I started coming on these shows, the old show, this show.
Okay.
Before that. Then for some reason,
Uh-huh.
at the 2011 NBA Celebrity All-Star Game, which
And by the way, you've been an MVP of that
I'm
game.
a former MVP.
Yep.
I don't know if he was thrown out of pocket by that, but I was
don't know.
there with my kids, and he gave
And
my
your kids at that point were
They don't
10,
care.
10 and 8.
10 and 8. They don't care about selfies. They ain't asking
And
for
they have been
sneakers.
backstage with Kanye.
They ain't
been-
impressed
they,
with
they-
anybody.
They know every.
You give them a pound and a smile, you keep it moving.
Right.
You gave my kids the Heisman, turned his back on. But it wasn't just to my kids; it was to me.
So you went up just to get a quick pick.
Not even a pick. A what's up?
Okay,
a
just a
smile,
what's up.
a
and,
wink.
and he just Heisman.
He gave us to this, and it was
Okay.
blatant. It was personal, whatever. But
Okay, so in other words, the real reason why you're upset at LeBron James is because he gave you his back. He gave you his ass to kiss, and supposedly to you that represented a personal affront because he owed you that acknowledgement, and he owed your children that acknowledgement, even though you just stated that your children are not starstruck by anybody, but supposedly you're upset with LeBron because he did not acknowledge you and your children. So once again, as you can see with the, and like I said before, there are different types of liberal Caucasians, right? You have the Max Kellerman type. He's also the Wigga Whiteboy type, by the way, Max Kellerman. Like I saw somebody make a comment stating that Max Kellerman used to be a rapper. Oh yeah, I've been knew that. I mean, in New York, you know about that. I mean, Max Kellerman had a video out way back in the day, trying to act like he was hard. But if you remember when, back in like the early 2000s, Max Kellerman used to have a boxing show on ESPN, and he still had a lot of that Wigga Whiteboy energy on him. With how he had his hair and his beard shaped up and all that other shit. But now he's in his early 40s, so now he's kind of letting that subside. Rappaport is kind of in that same vein, and they feel like they can out nigga you. And when you don't give them that acknowledgement and that acceptance, that's when you will be the recipient of how they truly feel about you, i.e. Max Kellerman with Kyrie Irving and Michael Rappaport with LeBron James.
But this was after he had already been to the Miami Heat and all that stuff. So I had already had problems with when he disrespected me in front of my kids and my kids. I was like, hell to the no.
Right, now, didn't I tell you? See, now this is a form of blackface, quote unquote. When the so-called quote unquote Wigga white man talks like that, that's a form of blackface. That's a form of trying to replicate the so-called black man. And I believe that Spike Lee may have cast him in the film Bamboozled on purpose. Sometimes these directors, they cast people because that's a form of the director understanding that this person is truly the character. They're not really playing a role. They're playing who they really are, or who they try to be. It's just like when Tyler Perry cast Anai Lathan in The Family That Prays. I think that there's a certain energy that comes off of people that will tell someone who's sharp-minded and sharp-eyed that this person can play this role very well because it really goes along with who they really are. And if you remember in the film Bamboozled, Michael Rappaport plays the executive who he wants to tell Damon Wayans' character what it means to be black. So to make a long story short, this man is upset, or this male is upset, because he's not a man if you're that worried about another man acknowledging you. This male is upset because LeBron James gave him and his kids the cold shoulder. For some of the things that he said about LeBron James could have turned to him and said, fuck you and fuck your kids. if he was really, if you really wanted to offend him, man, if he really wanted to offend you, he could have said, fuck you and fuck your kids. There's certain people who would do that. Okay? I think that he showed him a great deal of respect just turning his back to him. Because this guy has a crazy mouth. So I remember that time period, 2010, when LeBron James went to Miami and people were engaging in that pseudo lynching mentality where they were burning his jersey and making it like he, like he flew the airplanes into the Twin Towers and all this other silly shit. But that shows you the sense of entitlement that this male has in regards to LeBron James. He felt like LeBron owed him acknowledgement.
No.
And he's still mad about it to this day. And that's something.
To the no.
Can't you put that aside?
Why should I? And aside the fact that's just a little icing on the cake.
Okay.
The fact of the matter is that I wrote 23 reasons since the books came out. He did the 24th reason and the 25th reason why he'll never be like Mike. First of all, what kind of NBA champion? Michael Jordan would never send a happy birthday tweet to a rookie.
Yep.
You sending a birthday tweet to Lonzo Ball like he's your friend. That's a rookie. You're supposed to have him getting you donuts, carrying basketballs, and detailing your car. I mean, what are we doing to the NBA here? Happy birthday. You even know Lonzo?
Well, clearly, the reason why LeBron James was sending out an acknowledgement to Lonzo Ball is because LeBron James does view himself as a patriarch of the NBA, but also he sees future business ventures with Lonzo Ball, possibly with Clutch Sports. He also sees a potential for him to maybe even go out to the LA Lakers in the twilight of his career and try to help build up Lonzo Ball like he did Kyrie Irving. That's just how LeBron is. It's not to me, that's not a big deal. I don't expect him to be personality-wise like Michael Jordan. Everybody's different. Plus, it's a different era. We don't know what those men would have done. They try to act like everybody was, like nobody spoke to each other. Now, I'm the first one to tell you back then, it was a much more militaristic mindset in sports and in basketball, but guys were friends. Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley were friends. Scottie Pippen and Karl Malone were friends. Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson were friends. People were friends back then. So they try to act like there was this big, like there was this big icy partition between everyone and nobody acknowledged anybody else. People were friends back then. It just wasn't quite as chummy as it is today because of social media. But when LeBron makes moves, it's normally about business. And Lonzo Ball has not been shy about the fact that he does admire LeBron James, and that is his basketball idol.
Does he even know Lonzo? Why are you sending this man birthday tweets? If I was Lonzo, I'd have been like, who is you?
First of all, how do we know Michael wouldn't have done that? Because Michael responded to LeVar Ball, and Skip Bayless said when LeVar started talking and LeBron responded, Skip said Michael Jordan would never ever respond to LeVar Ball. And lo and behold, at his camp in Vegas, what did he do? He responded because we can't say
kids asked him the question.
They did. They asked him a question.
Yes, the children did ask him a question. Michael probably should have just said, look, the man is doing his thing, but Michael's petty like that. And if you catch him direct, he is going to tell you how he really feels, especially at the age he is, in his mid-50s. When people get up that age, they don't give a shit. They're going to tell you how they really feel about most topics, especially Jordan, because Jordan's just sitting back every day just counting his money, sexing his woman and his side women, smoking cigars. That's all he does every day, for the most part. So he's going to tell you how he really feels.
But that don't mean he have to answer.
That's Michael Jordan who's wearing the stonewashed jeans and the oversized leather coats. Now, we're not talking about the attack killer Michael Jordan.
Right.
Okay, we're talking Michael Jordan would have done exactly what Patrick Beverly beautifully did to that rookie. Take his heart out and be like, now I'm your father. I'm your dad. In your whole career, when you see Patrick Beverly, I'm your father. I don't know why the rest of the league isn't following suit. Like when you see Lonzo Ball at the line, I'm like, I got this dude right here. This is me right here. All day.
All this is a role that Michael Rappaport is playing. He know damn well he go out on the court talking all that shit. That man will get lumped up. He'll look like Martin when he fought Tommy Hearns. The fuck out of here.
I wouldn't even make eye contact. I'm not giving you pounds. This is my man all night.
Okay, I got you. So, but
Yes.
Michael Rappaport, as big a critic as I have been of LeBron James, I do not get personal with LeBron, and I must say, I always defend LeBron off the court, and you have some nice things to say about.
Yes, Skip has, quote unquote, defended LeBron off the court because he really didn't have an option to. Most of LeBron's dirt has been kept under wraps in regards to him dealing with other women, which, as I've already stated, is not a big deal. A man can have other women, as long as long as you keep the shit in order. He is a top athlete. Athletes have the mentality of conquerors. They are going to have multiple women. It is what it is.
About
the 23rd reason.
All this social commentary and all the good things he's done charity-wise.
All of it.
And I have yet to hear, and all the things, and I know a lot of things that I've heard about LeBron James off the court.
I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have a lot of things that you could say if you wanted to go there. I don't doubt that, Skip.
Court, I've never heard this happen before, where he actually just disrespected a fan of his with two kids, 10 and an 8-year-old kid, right in front of the world.
Oh, please. Give me a fucking break. There ain't no disrespect. If a man come out there and talk about you, as I'm sure Michael Rappaport was talking about him after he left Cleveland, believe me, LeBron did him a favor by just turning his back on him. Because there's certain athletes that would have said, like I said before, there's certain guys that would have said, fuck you and your kids. And would have dared him to do something about it. Believe me, I've heard and seen worse. Okay? So just be thankful that the man just turned his back. Because certain other men, it could have become a very ugly situation depending on how you spoke about him. But hey, it is what it is.
That happened.
Turned his back.
It happened.
And it's shockingly out of character for LeBron James.
Hey, it happened.
Okay.
It's a fact. It happened. I mean, listen. If I was that famous, I have my bad days, my good days, but this is at the Celebrity All-Star Game. We all know the All-Star Game is for the kids. You're at the Celebrity All-Star Game, my man. I'm a former MVP. Give my kids a wink and a smile and keep it moving.
This guy's really serious. This guy said, I'm a former MVP of the Celebrity All-Star Game. So in his mind, really what he's saying is that he viewed himself as a peer of LeBron. Because he was the MVP of the Celebrity All-Star Game. You know, people don't have to understand when you get on TV and you start talking all this craziness about athletes. Athletes are human beings as well. Depending on what you say about them, it is going to affect how they're going to treat you when they see you, particularly if you are another celebrity. It's one thing if you're just a regular person that they're never going to see, and that to them doesn't matter because that regular person is not in their world. When they see another celebrity, they feel like that person is supposed to treat them a certain way, and if they don't, there could be repercussions. As I've stated, Michael Rappaport to me got off easy because knowing him and knowing how his mouth works, he could have saw LeBron in the club and it could have got silly if LeBron had that type of personality. But LeBron is not a confrontational person like that. That's why he likes to do a lot of the subtweeting and a lot of the subliminal messaging.
And yet you wrote about some friend of a friend of a friend thing where there may have been some bad blood somewhere between.
And there might have been bad blood in a girl. Who knows? I don't know. It has nothing to do with me and my 8 and 10-year-olds. I have no idea.
Okay. And have you heard lately, after the book has come out, that maybe it was about opinions you've expressed on this or other shows?
No. It was before I even started expressing my opinions in the sports forum. You can't listen. This is what happened. But that's not even one of the reasons. The reasons why he'll never be like Mike, they're documented.
I don't understand how you could be a grown-ass man and come on TV and relay a story like that. I would be embarrassed to tell a story like that. I'm mad at this next man because he turned his back on me when I put my hand out to give him a pound. You're a grown-ass fucking man. Get out of here, man.
There's so many and so far. I mean, it's just like they keep coming. It's like a slot machine. They keep coming week after week.
Look at Shannon. Shannon won't slap the shit out of him.
So, I mean,
Can you defend your man?
No, I won't. I know it gets hard sometimes, and I've never been the star that LeBron is, and I never will be. But it does get hard.
You're a big deal. You're in the Hall of Fame, and you get approached.
Yeah,
and
but
sometimes you're not in the mood.
No, you're right.
It wasn't my kids, though. It was me in front of my kids.
And that's the thing. And the thing is that if I know you, I'll always acknowledge.
I will attest to that.
And sometimes kids come up to me and I don't know the kids. They say, but you know my father. And I'm like, well, who's your dad? And I said, well, hey, nice to meet you. Funny story, Skip. In 2001, Steve Bisciotti's brother was in Atlanta. I didn't know I never met him. and his kids come up and started talking to me.
The owner of the
But at the time he was a minority owner.
Okay.
But I had no idea who he was. But these kids come up and was like, we like the Ravens, blah blah blah. We started talking, and I was just carrying the conversation. And the dad, Steve's brother, comes up to me and he starts talking to me. And he's like, "I'm Steve Bishotti's brother." I was like, "Oh, okay." You never know who people are. But Skip, I always try to be cordial to people. I'm not always in the best mood. But now, Skip, it's amazing. Since I've started doing this show, people that I wouldn't even think. I'm talking about moms, white moms that I know don't really even know anything about football. That you just take the time out. Kids, it doesn't matter. I get it would be. But my daughter, when she was about 10 or 11, we were out eating, and people just kept coming, and she just like, "My dad is eating. He's not signing any more autographs." So they'll get to the point. But I don't agree with that. If he knew you from the jump, you got to ride with him. I'm gonna ride with you no matter what.
LeBron James don't owe that man a motherfucking thing at all. And I'm pretty sure that if he turned his back on him, it's for something that Michael Rappaport said. Michael Rappaport said earlier in this interview that he said something about him, or that he implied something about him after he left Cleveland in 2010. So he's being coy about something that went down. Believe me, I'm pretty sure that if LeBron treated him like that, it's because of something that Michael Rappaport did. And beyond that, he don't owe Michael Rappaport shit. That man ain't nothing. What this is really about is he wanted to feel closer to LeBron because of his infatuation with the so-called black male. He wanted LeBron to give him a pound because he was hoping that it would be like the cartoon that he watched growing up, Wonder Twin Powers Activate. He wanted to siphon off some of that super black man energy that LeBron James was emanating. That's why he keeps talking about how he was a celebrity All-Star Game MVP, as if anybody gives two shits about that. The fuck out of here, man. Just be happy. Do your two kids acknowledge you? That's all you need to worry about. Because you just said that your kids are not starstruck by anybody. So that then they didn't miss anything then. Do you love your kids, and do your kids love you? Obviously, you had LeBron James up as an idol that it still hurt you 6 years, 7 years later. Be a man, hopefully your testicles drop. Get over it. Move on with your life.
What? Now, if I got a bone to pick with you, I'm going to pull you to a side. When I'm in front of your kids, I'm going to say, "Bro, you and I need to holler at you."
Oh, I would be beautiful. We could talk all day.
Yeah.
It's also the setting. It's the All-Star game.
Celebrity
That's
All-Star
where
game.
everybody
Treat
is
the MVP
being,
with the respect he deserves, Troy. Treat the former MVP with the respect.
And by the way, if I may say this before Michael Rappaport, you know a lot of people. You've crossed a lot of paths.
Oh yeah,
right? Yeah.
I've crossed a lot of paths.
Yeah,
It's hard to impress me.
I mean, that night that you met, or LeBron met you, introduced himself to you, you had just had a debate back in the back room of the 4040 Club with one Jay-Z about the greatness of one Pearl Washington.
That's right.
I read your book.
That's right,
I know
Skip.
these stories. So again, you went from Jay-Z to young LeBron. How are you, sir? To this. So it's just.
I did not tell you that Michael Rappaport's the type of guy who's going to try to out nigga a nigga. He'll be there in the back room trying to go back and forth with Jay-Z about Pearl Washington. For those of you who don't know, Pearl Washington was a point guard who played in college. He played, I believe, with the Syracuse Orangemen back in the mid-'80s. Around the same time that Chris Mullin was at St. John's and Patrick Ewing was at Georgetown. And he also was the originator of the crossover that Tim Hardaway stole, that Tim Hardaway called the UTEP two-step. But he really got it from Pearl Washington. All right, now Pearl Washington went to the NBA for a hot second. I think he was with the Nets. He never did shit in the league. But like I told you, Michael Rappaport is that guy. He's that Wigga white boy who's going to try to out-nigga you. He's going to try to out-debate you in basketball and rap. He's that guy, man.
It's just hard for me to reconcile.
Hey, that's what it is. But I mean, the chapter isn't just that. It's all the shenanigans. It's the unfollowing the Cleveland Cavaliers. When you played for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Gwyneth Paltrow invented that. It's called uncoupling. You can't unfollow your team that you're playing for. You're sending out memes. You've never been in the dunk contest. And LeBron...
Look, to me, a dunk contest is something that people enter in their first couple of years. If you haven't entered in your first couple of years, don't bother. If it's not that important to you, who cares? Will LeBron have won if he'd have went to the dunk contest, especially as a rookie or second-year player? Most definitely. Because that's kind of part of the ritual of the guy that they feel like is going to transcend the league. No, they want you to win that dunk contest. But for whatever reason, he decided not to do it. It is what it is. You move on. Maybe the pressure was too much. We know he does not deal with pressure well.
LeBron James, as great as he is as a player, and I will not debate or argue how great he is. He's one of the best ever. One of the best players ever with the worst sneakers consistently. I think he should name his sneaker Irony by LeBron James. From the greatest player of all time. Them sneakers are horrible.
South Beach.
What?
South Beach is the stars.
Those sneakers with the 4 straps. This isn't a mental institution. What's with the straps?
The 15's a boss now. Tell me the 15s ain't bad.
I stopped looking at those things. I wore them once. I caught an ankle injury from wearing those. Just
You hater.
Black and mild. Yo.
So, last thought. The current cartoon meme posted by LeBron after Kyrie's victory at Atlanta last night meant what?
If you want to be like Mike, get your own meme. That's like an old used meme. At least create your own meme.
He got a bunch of them.
Nah, those memes are trash. There's a recycled memes. Joy knows the gram and social media. If you're gonna really do,
Of course she does. She's a female. She's on social media all day. That's why all her relationships eventually collapse, because she's spending too much time on damn social media. But look, man, I've already spoken on the LeBron James issue with the Instagram and the tweets and all this. That's just part of who he is. LeBron does have certain childlike or feminine characteristics. That's just part of what you have to deal with as part of his package. You know, it's like Liberace. Yeah, he plays the piano great, but he's also a faggot. I mean, hey, you got to deal with the whole package, man.
really do something, like get your own meme.
Yeah.
Not a whole, like, you know, get something. You got a team. You're in the film business now. You're a big time producer. Get one of your people to produce you your own meme.
Did you see what he did? Did you see the meme that I tweeted when he dropped that 57-11-7 on Washington?
Did you put a meme out?
Oh, that 57 piece, John Wall, bumping your gums, talking about we tried to
I
dodge.
agree.
Hell yeah. My man came home. Me and Savannah gave him 57 hugs. One for every point. Love it.
I agree. I agree.
Oh,
He
that
did his thing.
57 piece.
It ain't gonna work. The biggest problem with the Cavaliers right now is not LeBron. The injuries obviously are a problem. Tristan's down. Isaiah's not there. Maybe Ty Lue isn't that good of a basketball coach.
Well, that's what I stated. That's what I stated when Kyrie left. I stated it's obvious that Kyrie feels that he's not a good basketball coach. And I also stated that when I was doing my review of the finals games, I stated that Ty Lue is not a good coach and that Steve Kerr was going to outcoach him. Ty Lue has an old ass team and he's trying to run them into the ground, trying to have them run track meets with young teams. Obviously, the style of play for the Cleveland Cavaliers should be to slow the ball down. But you have a guy in LeBron James who still wants to run up and down like he's 22, and they don't want to just run a half-court offense and try to, dirty and muddy the game up. That's the only way that they're going to win. Period.
The assistant coach, Tyler.
Yeah, the assistant coach. Maybe. Why is he a good coach? He look what he's doing under duress. The Boston Celtics. It looked like it was like sink time.
Yeah.
They came back. They figured out. They have basketball schemes. Maybe I'm just saying. Maybe Ty Lue is not that good of a basketball coach.
Well, that's obvious. Nothing against the brother, but some people in the NFL, some guys are just coordinators. In the NBA, some guys are just assistant coaches. But anyway, that's the issue on Rappaport. Peace.